You are not alone in this universe. You have never been alone. There is a force, a presence, an infinite intelligence that is always with you, always guiding you, always loving you. And the moment you begin to recognize this truth, your entire life transforms. Everything changes when you understand that you are not just a physical being stumbling through life trying to figure it all out by yourself. You are a spiritual being having a human experience, and you have access to guidance that is far greater than anything your logical mind could ever produce. The question is not whether this guidance exists. The question is whether you are willing to listen. Are you willing to quiet the noise of your ego long enough to hear the whispers of your soul? Are you willing to trust in something you cannot see but can absolutely feel? Because that is what walking with God is all about. It is about trust. It is about faith. It is about surrendering your need to control everything and allowing yourself to be led by a force that knows exactly where you need to go. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. You might be saying, but I have tried to connect with God. I have prayed, I have meditated, and I still feel lost. I still feel alone. And I want to tell you something right now that might shift everything for you. The reason you are not hearing the guidance is not because it is not there. It is because you are listening with the wrong part of yourself. You are listening with your mind when you should be listening with your heart. You are looking for answers in the noise when you should be looking for them in the silence. Let me share with you 5 ways that you can genuinely connect with spiritual guidance and begin walking with God in your daily life. These are not complicated practices. They do not require you to be a monk or a priest or someone who has studied Scripture for decades. These are simple, practical ways that anyone can use to open themselves up to the prophetic, divine presence that is always available to us. The first way to receive spiritual guidance is to learn to be still. This sounds so simple, but it is one of the hardest things for most people to do. We live in a world that glorifies busyness. We are always doing something, always moving, always consuming information, always distracted. We check our phones every few minutes. We fill every moment with noise, with music, with television, with something. We are terrified of silence because when we are silent, we have to face ourselves. We have to face our thoughts, our fears, our doubts. But here is the truth: God speaks in the silence. When you are constantly busy, constantly distracted, constantly filling your mind with external noise, you are blocking the channel through which guidance comes. Think of it like trying to hear a quiet voice in a crowded stadium. It is impossible. The voice is there, but you cannot hear it because there is too much noise around you. The same thing happens in your life. The guidance is always there, but you cannot hear it because you have surrounded yourself with so much mental noise that the quiet voice of your soul gets drowned out. So the first practice is to create moments of stillness in your day. It does not have to be hours. Start with just 5 minutes. Sit quietly. Do not try to force anything. Do not try to make something happen. Just sit and breathe and be present. You will notice that your mind will race at first. Thoughts will come rushing in. Let them. Do not fight them. Just observe them and let them pass like clouds in the sky. And in those spaces between the thoughts, in those moments of quiet, you will begin to feel something. You will begin to sense a presence. You will begin to hear the guidance. This is not about emptying your mind completely. That is a myth. The mind will always have thoughts. But when you practice stillness regularly, you create space for the divine to enter. You create an opening. And that opening is where the guidance comes through. You might suddenly get an insight about a problem you have been struggling with. You might feel a sense of peace about a decision you need to make. You might get a clear direction about what step to take next. This is not your ego talking. This is something deeper, something wiser, something that comes from a place beyond your limited human understanding. The second way to receive spiritual guidance is to pay attention to the signs that are all around you. God is always communicating with us, but most of the time we are too busy or too skeptical to notice. Have you ever thought of someone you have not spoken to in years, and then suddenly they call you that same day? Have you ever needed an answer to a question and then you opened a book to a random page and the answer was right there? Have you ever been struggling with a decision and then you heard a song on the radio or saw a billboard or overheard a conversation that gave you exactly the clarity you needed? These are not coincidences. There is no such thing as coincidence when you are walking with God. Everything is orchestrated. Everything is connected. The universe is constantly arranging circumstances, people, and events to guide you toward your highest good. But you have to be awake enough to see it. You have to be present enough to recognize it. Most people dismiss these signs as random chance. They say, "Oh, that was just a coincidence," or "that was just my imagination." But when you start paying attention, when you start looking for the guidance, you will see that these signs are everywhere. And they are not subtle, they are obvious, they are clear. God does not whisper when you are listening. God shouts through synchronicity, through patterns, through repeated messages that show up in different forms until you finally get it. The key is to ask for guidance and then watch for the signs. Do not try to control how the answer comes. Do not say, "God, I need an answer, and it has to come in this specific way," because when you do that, you limit how the guidance can reach you. Instead, ask your question and then release it. Say, "I am open to receiving guidance in whatever form it needs to come," and then pay attention. Be aware, be present. Notice what shows up. Maybe you will open your email and there will be a message from someone offering you exactly what you need. Maybe you will go to a coffee shop and strike up a conversation with a stranger who gives you the exact advice you have been seeking. Maybe you will turn on the television and a documentary will be playing that answers your question. The guidance is always there. You just have to be willing to see it. The third way to receive spiritual guidance is to trust your intuition. Your intuition is not some mystical, magical thing that only special people have access to. Everyone has intuition. It is that quiet inner knowing that tells you when something is right or wrong. It is that gut feeling that warns you about a person or a situation. It is that sense of certainty you get when you know you are on the right path, even if you cannot logically explain why. The problem is that most of us have been taught to ignore our intuition. We have been taught to trust only what we can see, measure, and prove. We have been taught that logic and reason are superior to feelings and inner knowing, and so we override our intuition constantly. We ignore the red flags. We dismiss the warning signs. We talk ourselves out of what we know in our heart to be true because our mind tells us it does not make sense. But your intuition is how God speaks to you directly. It is your internal guidance system. It is the voice of your higher self, your soul, the part of you that is connected to the infinite intelligence of the universe. When you ignore your intuition, you cut yourself off from one of the most powerful sources of guidance available to you. Learning to trust your intuition is a practice. It takes time, it takes courage, because often your intuition will tell you to do things that do not make logical sense. It will tell you to turn down a job that looks perfect on paper because something does not feel right. It will tell you to take a chance on something even though you cannot see how it will work out. It will tell you to end a relationship that seems fine on the surface because you know in your soul that it is not aligned with who you are becoming. The more you honor your intuition, the stronger it becomes. Start with small things. When you get a feeling about something, follow it. See what happens. You will start to notice that your intuition is almost always right, and as you build trust in it, you will feel more confident following it even when the stakes are higher. Your intuition speaks to you in different ways. For some people, it is a physical sensation in their body. They feel a tightness in their chest or a flutter in their stomach. For others, it is a voice in their head, not a loud voice, but a quiet, calm knowing. For others, it is just a sense, a feeling that they cannot quite put into words, but they know is true. However, your intuition speaks to you. Learn to recognize it, honor it, trust it, because it is the voice of God within you. The fourth way to receive spiritual guidance is through meditation and prayer. Now, I know some of you might have resistance to these words. You might have had bad experiences with religion. You might associate prayer with begging or pleading with a distant God who may or may not answer. But I want to reframe these practices for you. Prayer is not about begging. Prayer is about connecting. It is about opening your heart and having a conversation with the divine. It is about expressing your gratitude, your concerns, your desires, and then being willing to listen for the response. True prayer is a two-way communication. You speak, and then you listen. You ask, and then you receive. Many people pray by listing all the things they want, and then immediately moving on with their day. They never stop to listen for the answer. They never create space for the guidance to come through. That is like calling someone on the phone, talking at them for 5 minutes, and then hanging up before they have a chance to respond. If you want to receive spiritual guidance through prayer, you have to be willing to listen. Meditation is the listening part of prayer. When you meditate, you quiet your mind and create space for the divine to speak. You do not have to sit cross-legged on a cushion for hours. You do not have to chant or do anything complicated. Meditation can be as simple as sitting quietly, focusing on your breath, and allowing yourself to be present. In that presence, in that stillness, the guidance comes. There are many forms of meditation. You can do a walking meditation where you move slowly and mindfully through nature, paying attention to the sensations in your body and the beauty around you. You can do a guided meditation where you listen to someone lead you through a visualization. You can do a mantra meditation where you repeat a word or phrase that has meaning for you. Find what works for you. The form does not matter. What matters is that you are creating regular time to be still, to be quiet, to be open. When you combine prayer and meditation, you create a powerful practice for receiving guidance. You speak your intentions, your questions, your gratitude, and then you sit in silence and allow the answers to come. And they will come. Maybe not immediately, maybe not in the way you expect, but they will come. The fifth way to receive spiritual guidance is to live in alignment with love. This might sound abstract, but it is actually very practical. Every decision you make, every action you take, every thought you think can be guided by one of two forces, love or fear. When you choose love, you align yourself with God. When you choose fear, you separate yourself from the divine. Love is the nature of God. Love is the essence of who you are at your core. When you act from love, when you speak from love, when you think from love, you are in harmony with the universe. And when you are in harmony with the universe, guidance flows to you effortlessly. You are in the flow. You are on the path. Everything becomes easier because you are not fighting against the current anymore. You are moving with it. So how do you live in alignment with love? It starts with your thoughts. You have to become aware of the thoughts you are thinking throughout the day. Are they loving thoughts or fearful thoughts? Are they thoughts of gratitude or thoughts of complaint? Are they thoughts of abundance or thoughts of lack? Your thoughts create your reality. When you think loving thoughts, you create a loving reality. When you think fearful thoughts, you create a fearful reality. This does not mean you have to be positive all the time or pretend that everything is perfect. It means you choose to see the world through the lens of love rather than the lens of fear. When something challenging happens, instead of immediately going into panic or worry, you can ask yourself, how can I respond to this from a place of love? What would love do in this situation? Living in alignment with love also means treating yourself and others with kindness and compassion. It means forgiving instead of holding grudges. It means being generous instead of stingy. It means being honest instead of deceptive. It means being grateful instead of entitled. Every choice you make either moves you closer to love or closer to fear. And the more you choose love, the more you feel the presence of God in your life. When you are living from love, you do not need to force things to happen. You do not need to manipulate or control. You simply set your intention, take inspired action, and trust that the universe will handle the details. This does not mean you sit around doing nothing and waiting for things to fall into your lap. It means you do your part, and you trust that God will do His part. You plant the seeds, and you trust that they will grow. You do not dig them up every day to check on them. You water them, you give them sunlight, and you trust the process. Now, I want to talk to you about what it really means to walk with God. It does not mean your life will suddenly become perfect. It does not mean you will never face challenges or difficulties. Walking with God does not exempt you from the human experience. You will still face loss, pain, disappointment, and struggle. But when you are walking with God, you face these challenges differently. You face them with faith instead of fear. You face them knowing that you are being guided, that you are being supported, that there is a purpose to everything that happens. Walking with God means trusting that everything is happening for your highest good, even when you cannot see it in the moment. It means knowing that every challenge is an opportunity for growth. Every obstacle is an invitation to become stronger, and every setback is actually a setup for something better. One of the biggest obstacles people face when trying to connect with spiritual guidance is their own doubt. They doubt that they are worthy of receiving guidance. They doubt that God cares about their small problems. They doubt that they are capable of hearing the voice of the divine. And these doubts block the connection. You have to understand something fundamental. You are not separate from God. You are an expression of God. You are a piece of the divine having a human experience. God is not up in the sky somewhere looking down on you, judging you, deciding whether or not you deserve help. God is within you. God is the very essence of who you are. When you connect with your true self, you connect with God. They are one and the same. So when you doubt your worthiness, you are actually doubting God. You are saying that God made a mistake when He created you. You are saying that somehow you are flawed, broken, not good enough. But that is impossible. Everything that comes from God is perfect. You are perfect exactly as you are. Not perfect in the sense that you never make mistakes or never need to grow, but perfect in the sense that you are exactly where you need to be, learning exactly what you need to learn, becoming exactly who you are meant to be. Your so-called flaws, your struggles, your challenges, they are all part of your journey. They are all part of what makes you uniquely you, and God can use all of it. God can use your pain to help others who are in pain. God can use your struggles to make you stronger. God can use your mistakes to teach you wisdom. Nothing is wasted. Everything serves a purpose. When you start to see your life through this lens, everything shifts. You stop being a victim of circumstance, and you start being a co-creator of your reality. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you start asking, what is this teaching me? How can I grow from this? How can I use this experience to become more of who I truly am? Walking with God also means letting go of your attachment to outcomes. This is one of the hardest lessons for most people to learn. We all have ideas about how our lives should look. We have plans, goals, timelines. We think we know what is best for us, and when things do not go according to our plan, we get frustrated, angry, depressed. We think something has gone wrong. But what if nothing has gone wrong? What if everything is actually going exactly right, just not in the way you expected? What if the closed door is actually protecting you from something that would not have served your highest good? What if the delay is actually giving you time to develop skills or wisdom you are going to need for what is coming next? What if the disappointment is actually redirecting you towards something better? When you walk with God, you have to be willing to release your attachment to how you think things should be. You have to be willing to say, I will do my best. I will take action. I will follow the guidance I receive. And then I will trust that whatever happens is exactly what is supposed to happen. This does not mean you become passive. It means you become peaceful. You stop fighting against reality. You stop trying to force things that are not meant to be. You flow with life instead of against it. This level of surrender requires tremendous faith. It requires you to trust in something you cannot see. It requires you to believe that you are being taken care of even when circumstances suggest otherwise. But this is what walking with God is all about. It is about faith. It is about trust. It is about knowing that you are never alone, never abandoned, never forgotten. There are going to be times when you feel disconnected from your guidance. There are going to be times when the voice seems quiet, when the signs seem to disappear, when you feel like you are wandering in the dark. These times are not evidence that God has abandoned you. These are the times when you are being asked to strengthen your faith. These are the times when you are being asked to trust, even when you cannot see the path ahead. Think of it like learning to walk. When a child is learning to walk, the parent holds their hand at first. But eventually, the parent has to let go so the child can learn to walk on their own. When the parent lets go, it does not mean they have stopped caring. It does not mean they have abandoned the child. They are right there, watching, ready to catch them if they fall. But they let go because they know the child needs to develop their own strength, their own balance, their own confidence. The same thing happens in your spiritual life. There are times when the guidance is so clear, so obvious that you cannot miss it. And there are times when it seems to pull back, when you are asked to take steps without being able to see the entire path. These are the times when you are developing your spiritual muscles. These are the times when you are learning to trust yourself, to trust your inner knowing, to trust that you are connected to something greater even when you cannot feel it as strongly. During these times, do not panic. Do not think you have done something wrong. Do not think you have lost your connection. Keep doing the be practices. Keep being still. Keep watching for the signs. Keep trusting your intuition. Keep praying and meditating. Keep choosing love. The connection is always there. Sometimes it is just quieter so that you can learn to listen more carefully. One of the most powerful things you can do to strengthen your connection to spiritual guidance is to keep a journal. Write down the guidance you receive. Write down the signs you notice. Write down your questions, and then write down any insights or answers that come to you. Write down your gratitude. Write down your fears and doubts so you can see them clearly and release them. When you keep a journal, you create a record of your spiritual journey. You can look back and see how you have been guided, how things have worked out, how prayers have been answered. This builds your faith. When you are going through a difficult time and you are struggling to trust, you can look back at your journal and remember all the other times when things seemed impossible and yet somehow everything worked out. You can see the evidence of God's presence in your life. Your journal does not have to be elaborate. It can be simple. Just a few sentences each day. Today I felt guided to call my friend and she really needed to hear from me. Today I was worried about money and then I got an unexpected check in the mail. Today I was feeling lost and then I saw a sign that reminded me to trust. These small moments of recognition add up. They become proof that you are being guided, that you are being cared for, that you are walking with God. Another important aspect of receiving spiritual guidance is being willing to act on it. Guidance is useless if you receive it and then ignore it. So many people pray for answers, receive clear guidance, and then second-guess it or talk themselves out of following it. They let their fear or their logic override the wisdom they received. And then they wonder why they feel stuck or why things are not working out. When you receive guidance, you have to be willing to act on it, even if it does not make sense to your logical mind, even if it seems risky, even if other people think you are crazy. This is what faith looks like in action. You receive the guidance, you trust it, and you take the step. And then you watch as the next step reveals itself. You do not need to see the entire staircase before you take the first step. You just need to trust that the next step will be there when you need it, and it always is. When you take the first step in faith, the second step appears. When you take the second step, the third step appears. This is how the path unfolds, not all at once, but one step at a time. Walking with God requires courage. It requires you to be willing to stand apart from the crowd sometimes. It requires you to be willing to disappoint people who do not understand your path. It requires you to be willing to leave situations, relationships, jobs, places that no longer serve your highest good. It requires you to be willing to say yes to things that scare you and no to things that do not align with your truth. This is not easy. Most people spend their entire lives trying to fit in, trying to please others, trying to do what is expected of them. They ignore their inner guidance because it conflicts with what others think they should do. They stay in jobs they hate because it is safe. They stay in relationships that drain them because they are afraid of being alone. They keep living someone else's version of their life because they are too afraid to claim their own. But when you start walking with God, you cannot do that anymore. You cannot ignore your truth. You cannot play small. You cannot hide your light. You are called to step into your full potential, to live your purpose, to be fully yourself. And that requires you to let go of the need for approval from others. It requires you to trust your inner guidance more than you trust the opinions of the people around you. This does not mean you become arrogant or dismissive of others. It means you honor yourself. It means you respect your own path. It means you understand that what is right for someone else may not be right for you, and what is right for you may not be right for someone else. And that is okay. We are all on different journeys. We are all learning different lessons. We are all being guided in different directions. Your job is not to judge anyone else's path. Your job is to walk your own path with integrity, with love, with faith. When you do that, you give others permission to do the same. You become a light for others who are trying to find their way. You become living proof that it is possible to trust in something greater, to follow your inner guidance, to live a life that is aligned with your highest truth. As you continue on this path, as you practice these 5 ways of connecting with spiritual guidance, you will notice something beautiful happening. You will start to feel more peaceful. You will start to feel more confident. You will start to feel more connected to yourself and to others and to the divine. You will start to see miracles in your everyday life. Not big, dramatic miracles necessarily, but small, beautiful synchronicities that remind you that you are being guided, that you are being loved, that you are never alone. You will start to trust yourself more. You will start to trust life more. You will stop trying to control everything, and you will start to flow with the natural rhythm of the universe. You will find that the things you need come to you at exactly the right time. The people you need to meet show up exactly when you need them. The resources you need become available exactly when you need them. This is what it means to walk with God. This is what it means to be in alignment with the divine. And here is the most beautiful thing about all of this. The more you practice connecting with spiritual guidance, the easier it becomes. The more you trust your intuition, the stronger it gets. The more you notice the signs, the more signs appear. The more you choose love, the more love you feel. It is an upward spiral. Each step you take strengthens your connection. Each connection you make opens you up to receive even more. You are not starting from zero. You already have access to this guidance. You already have the ability to connect with God. You already have everything you need within you. All you have to do is remove the barriers you have built. All you have to do is quiet the noise and listen. All you have to do is trust what you hear and take action on it. This is your birthright. This connection, this guidance, this divine love is not something you have to earn. It is not something you have to become worthy of. It is yours simply because you exist. You are a beloved child of the universe. You are an expression of the divine. And the same force that created the stars and the oceans and the mountains lives within you. That force is guiding you right now. That force is speaking to you right now. That force is loving you right now. All you have to do is open yourself to receive it. All you have to do is say yes. Yes to the guidance. Yes to the love. Yes to the path that is unfolding before you. Yes to becoming who you truly are. Yes to living the life you were born to live. So today, right now, make a commitment to yourself. Commit to practicing these 5 ways of connecting with spiritual guidance. Commit to being still, to watching for the signs, to trusting your intuition, to praying and meditating, and to choosing love in every situation. Commit to walking with God not just in your words, but in your actions, in your choices, in the way you live your life every single day. This is not a one-time decision. This is a daily practice. Some days it will be easier than others. Some days you will feel deeply connected. Some days you will feel like you are stumbling in the dark. But if you keep showing up, if you keep practicing, if you keep trusting, you will find your way. You will feel the presence of God in your life more and more. You will hear the guidance more and more. You will experience the love more and more. And as you do, your life will transform, not overnight, not in some dramatic flash of light, but gradually, steadily, beautifully. You will find yourself making different choices. You will find yourself responding to challenges with more grace. You will find yourself feeling more peaceful, more joyful, more alive. You will find yourself living with purpose, with passion, with presence. This is what is possible for you. This is what is waiting for you. Not someday in the future, right now, today, in this moment. The guidance is here. The love is here. God is here. All you have to do is open your heart and receive it. You are not alone on this path. You have never been alone. You will never be alone. There is a force that loves you beyond measure, that believes in you completely, that is guiding you constantly. Trust in that force. Trust in yourself. Trust in the journey. And know that every step you take, you are walking with God. Every breath you breathe, you are connected to the divine. Every moment you live, you are held in infinite love. This is your truth. This is your reality. This is who you are. A spiritual being having a human experience, guided by a love that has no beginning and no end, walking a path that was designed specifically for you, becoming more and more of who you truly are with each passing day. So walk in faith, walk in trust, walk in love, and know that you are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you need to do, becoming exactly who you are meant to be. This is your journey. This is your path. This is your life. And it is unfolding perfectly, exactly as it should. Trust it. Trust yourself. Trust God. And watch as miracles unfold before your eyes. There is something else I need to share with you. Something that many people miss when they begin this spiritual walk. They think that receiving guidance means they will always get exactly what they want when they want it. They think that walking with God means life becomes a smooth highway with no bumps or detours. But that is not how it works. Sometimes the greatest guidance you receive is in the form of a closed door. Sometimes the most loving thing the universe can do for you is to prevent you from getting what you think you want, because something far better is waiting for you. Think about the times in your life when you desperately wanted something and you did not get it. You were heartbroken. You were confused. You questioned why this was happening to you. But then, months or years later, you looked back and realized that not getting what you wanted was actually the best thing that could have happened. You saw clearly that you were being protected, redirected, prepared for something you could not have imagined at the time. This is the wisdom of divine timing. The universe sees the entire picture while you only see a small piece. The universe knows what you need to learn, who you need to become, what experiences you need to have before you are ready for certain blessings. When you truly trust in spiritual guidance, you stop demanding that things happen on your timeline. You start surrendering to divine timing, knowing that everything arrives exactly when it is meant to. Another profound shift happens when you realize that walking with God does not mean avoiding darkness. It means having the courage to walk through the darkness, knowing you will come out the other side. Some of the most spiritual people you will ever meet have been through tremendous suffering. They have faced loss, trauma, illness, betrayal. But instead of becoming bitter, they became better. They used their pain as a doorway to compassion. They transformed their wounds into wisdom. They let their struggles strengthen their faith rather than destroy it. When you go through difficult times, remember that you are not being punished. You are being refined. You are being polished like a rough diamond. Every challenge removes another layer of false identity, another limiting belief, another fear that has been holding you back. What remains is your true self. Your authentic essence, the divine spark within you that can never be diminished no matter what you experience. The practice of gratitude is another powerful way to maintain your connection to spiritual guidance. When you focus on what is working in your life rather than what is missing, you align yourself with abundance. When you appreciate the blessings you already have, you open yourself to receive more. Gratitude is not just about feeling good, it is about recognizing that every single thing in your life, even the challenges, is serving your growth. It is about saying thank you before you see the outcome because you trust that the outcome will be for your highest good. Start and end each day with gratitude. Before you get out of bed, think of 3 things you are grateful for. Before you fall asleep, reflect on 3 moments from your day that brought you joy, taught you something, or helped you grow. This simple practice shifts your entire vibration. It moves you out of lack and into abundance. It moves you out of fear and into love. And when you are in that state, guidance flows to you effortlessly because you are in harmony with the frequency of the divine.